story as well this morning because there has been a sharp increase in attacks against Christians around the world, and that has finally prompted Congress to create a new special envoy for religious freedom in Central America and the Middle East. Now take a look at this map. At least 10 countries are known to be actively persecuting Christians, wrecking churches and killing Christians in all of these countries. That is a huge swath of the world that we're looking at. Most recently, we saw the terrorist attack, of course, in the mall in Nairobi, Kenya, and we know that people were singled out for their religion. If they could not quote from the Quran or answer questions, they were killed and executed. At least 61 civilians were killed in that attack, and the number continues to rise, as we have been talking about this morning. Also, a pair of deadly homicide bombings in Pakistan on Sunday killed at least 85 Christian worshipers there. Hundreds of people took to the streets on Monday. That's the protest that resulted against what was the deadliest ever attack on Christians in that country, and it happened at the All Saints Church, a hugely historic site in Peshawar, Pakistan. Republican Congressman Peter King is a member of the Homeland Security Committee and the chairman of the Subcommittee on Counterterrorism and Intelligence, and he joins us here this morning. Congressman, it's good to have you here today. You know,
Martha, great to be with you. Thank you.
There are people who've been talking about this for the past couple of years, you know, watching what's been playing out against the Coptic Christians and in Pakistan and in so many countries. Nigeria has been particularly brutal, and we're going to show some of these numbers. Tell us about this envoy. What does this mean?
Well, this basically, the person who deserves the credit for this is Congressman Frank Wolf. He has been, in many ways, a voice in the wilderness on this issue, because too often Christian persecution is ignored or is sort of pushed off to the side. Basically, this is to have a strong American position as far as freedom for Christians, freedom from persecution, and it's an envoy who can be used as a voice of the oppressed people. And it really depends on how an administration wants to use this envoy. This envoy can visit these areas. This envoy can meet with leaders from the affected communities, speak out at the world level, and really just raise the issue and then use that as a lever for the U.S. in our negotiations with these countries. Also, certainly an opportunity to raise it at the United Nations. But you're right, countries like Pakistan, Nigeria, I mean, what's going on in Algeria, Boko Haram, just blowing up Christian churches. It's exactly terrible. Right. And Egypt, they've really gone after the Coptic Christians. It needs to be
called out for what it is. The president wasn't very specific about it at the UN in terms of the real war on Christianity that's occurring in all these countries. But you point out Frank Wolf, and I want to pull up a statement from Frank Wolf, the congressman, because he has been very pointed on this. He says, listen to this, "I am certain that to do nothing is not an option, lest on this administration's and Congress's watch we witness a Middle East that is emptied of ancient faith communities, foremost among them the, quote, Sunday people." Do we want to be the generation that watches those ancient faiths disappear from the Middle East?
No, we cannot allow that to happen. And now, we passed a bill, I think it was 2 years ago, similar to this, but it went nowhere in the Senate. I would hope the Senate and the House can come together. You know, all the things we're fighting over, some important, some petty, this is a issue of major importance that we can agree on and should agree on. I don't see any, why there should be any opposition to this whatsoever. Not only opposition, I think it should be strongly supported and embraced by people of all political persuasions and also all religious faiths, because this should unite everyone. And again, I think too often over the past several years, these attacks on Christians have gone unreported by many in the mainstream media, by many among the elite, who somehow don't think that Coptic Christians or Christians in Nigeria or in Egypt or in Mali or in Saudi Arabia are part of, the world equation. But as Frank said, there is a long and distinct and very pronounced Christian impact and community in the Middle East, and is right now on the verge of being extinguished.
Yeah, and, Africa as well needs to be included in this, of course. Let's take a look at some of these numbers that we're talking about. And the pictures that we were just showing while you were talking, Congressman King, are so devastating. These pictures are from Egypt, where 40 churches are believed to have been burned and bombed and destroyed. Also, Boko Haram, as you pointed out, in Nigeria, has ruined 50 churches in that area. It is so widespread, and we talk so much about tolerance for Muslim religion. around the world. Do we not need to also have the same conversation if we're going to talk about religious tolerance? Can you imagine how these Christians feel in all of these countries when they hear so much discussion of Muslim tolerance? They have to want equal time, Congressman.
They certainly do, because there's such a clear double standard here. I mean, these are all almost entirely in Muslim countries, and you find Christians being persecuted, and yet when we have the president talking and others, we're constantly talking about how we have to reach out to people of the Muslim faith. They should not be persecuted either. But the reality is it's in Muslim countries where Christians are being violently persecuted. Now, in Nigeria, the government is friendly, but Boko Haram, the Islamist terrorist group in Nigeria, they've carried out brutal massacres, including on Christmas Day just several years ago. What happened in Egypt when Morsi took over in the great Arab Spring, which so many people were hailing at the time, but almost from day one of that, they started going after Coptic Christians. Yeah. So this is, and in Pakistan, again, over the weekend, it almost got lost with all the other headlines. But this was an attack on Christian churches where I think 85 people at least were just destroyed. Yeah. And so we have to speak out. We have to make it a vital part of the international discussion, not just a footnote at the end. It should be a major upfront issue, because we're talking about an entire community that runs the risk of being vanquished.
It has passed, as you say, to appoint this envoy, which is a start in the House, and now it goes to the Senate. So if people are in favor of it, they should let their senators know, I guess. And
Absolutely.
We're going to continue to put a lot of pressure and emphasis on this story that needs to be told as well. Congressman, thank you very much. We'll talk again about it.
Martha, thank you.
Good to see you.